Point Galaxy from the same family as Point Salad, but this time it's going to be in space. And instead of vegetable, you'll be collecting things like planets, stars, wormholes, moons, rocket ships, and similar. So let's see what is inside and give you some explanation how the game works. Initially, I thought that it works similar to Point Salad, which was going to be another Point Salad, but there's some extra layers of complexity in this one, which is a good thing because Point Salad is clearly a very simple game, which almost you feel like you can play with your eyes closed or something. And this one is bringing, you'll recognize some connection with Point Salad, but with slighter level, higher degree of complexity. We start with a manual, which looks like a bigger one. Similar, but with more context, so you still need to do your setup according to the number of players, and you remove certain number of cards, which could be any of them that you can take randomly. Then how the game is played, the different kind of cards, what happens when the turn ends. The scoring itself is an adventure because you score many different ways possible. And there's a solo mode. There's a solo mode as well. And solo mode, there's achievements for solo mode, some clarifications, and a quick reference guide. Okay. Now you have these rocket tokens that need to be punched out. Let's see. So this edition also brings this Kickstarter promo rocket tokens, which basically are 4 more rockets that you add to this collection. Because the scoring is a bit complex, you score all these different areas. You have this notepad help, which the original one could help some kind of. Every time I play Point Salad, I always need some kind of paper to track down all the points because sometimes it's too much. And that's it. That's the 2 deck of cards there, okay, which I'm gonna open and show you. And so everyone gets a reference guide, which explains the setup and card types, as well as the scoring, how you should aim for the scoring. And then, like Point Salad, these cards have 2 faces. Actually, no, they have only one face, the sun side, which has S. I don't know what the S means, but both have the S. But they have different sides, as you can see, the different sides. And then there are moon cards, so the moon need to be adjacent to a certain kind of planet by the color in order to score. But you can also place the moon to just fill the gap. And then you have wormhole cards, where this game you need to place the cards by a certain order, so the wormhole changes the gravity of the solar system, so you can go back and use it differently. So wormholes, more planets. So this sun has indeed a planet on the back. So why these suns are different? They have an S here. Maybe they're just starter or special. I need to. Oh wait, no. These are different ones that I need to check what they are. Because normally, like, you have the point side in Point Salad and the vegetable side. Here you also have planet and the points. There's another moon. Some moons are multicolored, so you can place it near a green planet or a blue planet, above or below. More moons. Then you have asteroids. So the suns will count as the point cards, and then the asteroids will need to be orbiting a sun like this on top of your solar system. And then in the end of the game, whoever has more asteroids will get 10 points. Second place 6, third place 2. In case of a tie, you just sum the first and the second if they are tied for first, and then you divide it by 2. That's how it goes. Asteroids. Oh, one solar system can only have an asteroid orbiting. Solar. Yeah, lots of asteroids, more wormholes, and more ways to score. So the ways is the score, you see, you get 3 points if you have a trio of these colors. So these are the trio suns. Then what can we find on the other side? So there's an example of planet. Not sure if all the planets are unique. I haven't seen in a way that I could compare. Maybe these names are they just came up with these names. So the numbers here, as you can see, these are the order that you need. So once you start putting a planet and it's a 6, then you need to go sequentially by going up or going down, and the maximum will be 7. So if you put a 6, then if you put a 7, the system closes. But if you could go down, then you can only add unique numbers like 6, a 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. But you can jump the numbers. And so that's why these wormholes are important, because if you put a wormhole there, then it's, if you're going down like 4, 3, then a wormhole, it means that now you can go up. You can put a 4, a 5, or 6, although you cannot repeat the number. Okay? And also there's some set collection here with these symbols in the end. On the scoring, we'll see that planets are associated with some symbols, or the rockets, which will give you access to those tokens. So there are planets, Rutwing, Kisnat. Who came up with these names? This one gives you 2 rockets for the rocket count. Yeah, that's it. Oh, some planets have an X, which they are wild planets. So you can place it any number that you don't have. And there's more of the same. There's a big mix of whatever. More planets, another X. I think this one has the same name. Let me see if I can find it again. No, they have similar names. Samaranth, Manginix, Zoff, Josh, Schmeshwer, Martilli. They look like human names, some of them. Maybe they are just connected with the guys that made the game. Would be an interesting way to honor you if your name, your surname, your first name gets into a planet. Okay, then we have more planets and points. It seems like it's going to be lots of trios, as you can see, lots of trios. Then this is 2 points for each wormhole and this symbols here. Okay, 4. So that's the 5 of them. You get 4 points if you have 1 of each. That's maybe difficult for moons. If you have moons and the bookmarks. And then you have more moons. Lots of moons. Moons and rockets. These are the tokens, I believe, not the symbols in the corner. If you have 3 tokens, that may be maybe 2 points for a trio. Maybe it's the rockets. So by now you have an idea of the type of cars that you can find on the bonus side or the planet side. So let's take a look at the planets now. Yeah, like this. That's it. More planets. It's a huge number of planets. So now we're going to set up and show you how the game works. Like in Point Salad, you have this market where you have the 3 rows, which the above one will be considered the planet, asteroids, and moon. And then here it's just, not the planet, sorry, suns, asteroids, moons, and then here, which are the other side of the cards. And then on the normal front, you have the planets. It's a similar setup as Point Salad. You also have these new tokens here on the side, which you could market them. And then on your turn, the difference is that now you take 2 of any of these cards. 2. No, you're not limited to 2 here, 1 there. You can take 2. Could be these 2. Could be these 2. Could be a combination of these with these 2. And then once you made your choice, imagine, then you go to these piles. You take the top ones and you turn them into planets. And these will be the new planets refilling the market. Then the same thing when there's one of these things that run out, then you pick another one, you split in 2, and then you fill the new market from there. And so this continues goes on and on and on until every player has played 13 times. And you know that because there will be only 7 cards remaining according to the math of the game. And that will trigger the end game. So this market here, which you randomly also select from the pool of tokens, you take a few considering the number of players. And then remember there were some cards that had this symbol here, the rockets. So on your solar system, when you accumulate 5, you can choose one of them and keep it. So this will be other ways to score. And then if you get to 5 and then you get to 10, you take another one, and then 15, you take another one. And that's that. And you can continue if possible, if you are able to do that. So these are tokens that stay with you, and then you will be able to score them differently. Let's see how the solar systems work. In terms of solar system, so I took this sun card to create a system, but in the beginning there were those cards that had S. So these are the starter cards you give randomly to someone, to everyone, every player, one of them, and the sides are different, so you choose one. So you already start with the sun, where you can start aiming to these specific colors. But in this example, I'm not using a starter card. I just picked this one, which will give me 2 points for every pair of blue and pink planet. So I started to create here a system. Okay, and this is a concept that didn't exist on Point Salad. So you have these systems, and the systems are independent. I could be building another one here, another one here, and the points will just come from this system. So this sun, I've started to put this planet, which is planet that counts as orange as and pink. Then this blue one, and then this pink one. And this needs to be sequentially, could be going up or down. In this case, because I put the 2, I'm now going up, and I have these 3 planets which could trigger that. So then what another options that could exist is, for example, this planet which has an X, it could go here and be a 6 if I need. Okay, but because it's an X, it won't count there. So that would be an option. Another option would be, instead of picking a planet side or use a planet side, I would use a moon. So in order to score, the moons need to be fulfilling the requirement here. So this one requires the moon to be between a pink and blue planet. So you see, you need to have a pink planet above or below, or blue planet above or below. So in this case, I would put the moon here, and it will give me these 3 points because it's between these. Okay, I could put the moon anywhere, but in order to score, they need to fulfill this requirement there that you see here. Okay, that's how the moons work. Then I could go for an asteroid. As mentioned before, the asteroids need to orbit sun. So if I pick the asteroid, I would need to put it there. So that's going to count towards my total of asteroids. And the total of asteroids don't come just for a system, comes from all your systems. And then another thing that I could try to do is, I could try to, on the back of planets, you also have the wormholes. So, and you would want to build the systems with as many cards as possible. So in order, and you cannot repeat numbers. So if I use a wormhole here, it means that I will invert the gravity of the system, and now I could go back in numbers. So you see there's some numbers missing here, like for example, number 1 and number 3. So now I could put a number 3 because I'm inverting the gravity. From 5 goes down into 3, and there was no 3, so I was able to add one more planet. So what's the big purpose of all these gymnastics here is because on scoring, then you'll get the points from the sun. This is probably the part that is very unique, similar compared with Point Salad, which was mostly coming from here. But now you get points for the number of unique planets on your system. So there are 1 to 7, sorry. If you manage to get all 7 numbers in a system, that's going to give you 12 points. That's why you need to play around with gravity, etc. Also the points coming from the moon. So this moon is giving 3 points there. The number of unique research icons that you have, and this is going to be on all your galaxy. I have an example here of a research item on this wormhole, F. So that would count as 1. So we count all the unique ones, and you get points similar to the planets. But it's the entire galaxy. There are not many research icons there. Then also the points that coming from the rocket tokens, just a few examples that I've shown. So this would give me, if I have 3 asteroids, will give me 4 points. 1 point for each sun. Yeah, so that's how much sun counts. And then if you are playing asteroids, you would get the points from the asteroids as well. And in the end, the player who has the most points being counted here: suns, moons, not moons, so this is planets, moons, scientific, symbol, research, rockets, asteroids. You sum everything and you have the winner. That's Point Galaxy. I think it's a necessary step above Point Salad, which is a fairly simple game, more for junior, entry, gateway, party kind of vibe, but this one, it's a step forward where you have a bit more of complexity and challenging, at least for me. So I hope you like this video to the point that you consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I have this big playlist full of games and board games, as well as all the major card games out there. And if you like podcasts, I also have the podcast Table Talks, where I'm interviewing people to get to know their profiles, their stories, their projects while playing board games online with them. So I definitely think that you will find interesting content in the channel to consider subscribing and to be part of this community. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.